This is gonna be a bit of boring video, but worth it. Welcome, folks. I am Ibrahim Arshad. I stayed trader for more than 2 years, and I just had the brilliant trade recently, which I thought if I explain it to y'all, then this single trade will give you so much knowledge that you ever need in the trading career. Before we dive into the trade, y'all should know that I live stream my trades. So of course, I live streamed that trade too. We'll also be watching the clips from my live stream about the trade covering my real-time reactions according to the market behaviors. So without any delay, let's get started. Alright, so y'all. So first, to understand that brilliant trade, we need to understand the narrative of the week. We need to understand how the week of the price action operates, right? So here is the map of how you're gonna understand the weekly price action of the market, right? So here, let me just, it's not that complicated, so let me just like make it real simple. The thing I'm actually trying to convey from this map is that we go at some certain type of direction at the start of the week, which is Monday, and usually go we continue that movement even on Tuesday. All right, so that's the thing that I'm going to that I'm actually telling you, that usually Monday and Tuesdays are same in order to get some liquidity, right? So, and at Wednesday you can see that Wednesday we can consolidate a little, making some liquidities that we can take on Thursday's manipulation, right? So Thursday's manipulation is actually really important that you actually want to catch. Why? Because Thursdays, it's more likely that Thursday market is very reactive towards getting the liquidities. Why? Because it has to complete an objective and then close the week, right? So that's why on Thursday we go up, take the buy side first, right? Go back to the OT level from that low high to this low, right? And then we go down. Now this is the manipulation that you actually want to catch, right? We go down, take all the sell side back to the OT level from this low to that high, and the discount level, right? So, and at Friday, you can, it mostly happens that at Friday, we usually go up to close the price of the weekly gap, right? So, the thing I'm actually trying to tell you that how the week operates, usually Monday and Tuesday goes in the same direction. Wednesday is mostly consolidating day. You don't want to trade on Wednesday. It's not really high probability trade. Don't take my word for it. Like, it's not really literally going to happen like that, but like it depends on the market variations. But this is the simplest model that you should keep in mind. All right, so Wednesday we can mostly consolidate and generate some liquidities that we can take on Friday, Thursday's manipulation. And usually on Friday, we actually go opposite to the Thursday and the whole week. Why? Because we have to close the price of the weekly candle, right? So that's why. And usually on Friday, your bias and your whatever it is, your liquidity might not work. Your trade might not go exactly if you are beginner. But for me, who's an advanced ICT trader, for me, I actually make a lot of money in Friday. I don't really lose. My ratio of losing in Friday is actually less than the most of the week. Why? Because I know how the Fridays operate. So if you want to know how the Fridays operates, then you can like comment on this video and ask for it, and I'll hopefully make the video specifically for the Friday trades. So now right here, I've told you all the narrative about the week. So let me tell you, in the real life charts and in that brilliant trade, how did I use this narrative to take that trade? All right, so let's jump onto the chart. All right, so over here, the week starts from here. This is the Monday's candle. On Monday, we actually consolidate a little. Why? Because we had to generate some liquidity that we can take on later on, right? So we consolidate, and on Tuesday's start, we went lower first, took the sell side, went back to the discount level from this low to that high, right? And then on Tuesday, we go up higher, threatening these buy sell liquidities, and even on Wednesday we started going higher. Why? Because we have an objective of taking these liquidities. Otherwise, if there was no objective like this, we usually had consolidated on Wednesday, right? So, and not on Monday. So on Wednesday we took all the liquidity and we continuing going higher. Why? Because we had to go back to the premium level from that high to this low, right? And we actually hit the OT level from that high to this low, right? And we go there, and now at this point, I wanted market to go lower, right? So I waited for Thursdays to come. I waited for Thursdays to come, and now let's say that we are at Thursday, and now I'm gonna tell you the next step of understanding this trade, which is the shift in market structures. Now at this point, when I know that we have been going higher till Wednesday, right? We have been going higher till Wednesday, and we have hit we have in the premium level, right? So now I want to see some shift in market structures on the for Thursday to go lower and show a good manipulation. So that's why I try to find some shift in market structures, right? So the first thing that you actually need to find the shift in market structures, you have to analyze that which liquidities, that where are the liquidities on the market, right? So the thing here is that to be noticed is liquidities are mostly above the sessions, right? So here we can see the two sessions at Wednesday. Look down right here at Wednesday. We have two sessions right here. One low right here, another low right here, another low right here. This highs, this highs, these highs, these equal highs, right? Right there. So we have two sessions liquidity right there, right? So that's why I wanted market to go a bit more up on Thursday's London session, take all the liquidities from here and go back to the OT level, right? So let me tell you which OT level I'm actually talking about right here. Now we have covered the shifting market structures, right? We had to understand where the liquidity is. We covered that, and now it's showed a shifting market structure. But I also want the market to, in advance, I want market to hit the OT level. Now from that high to this low, look how perfectly market is hitting the OT level from here to here. OT level is actually really important, as you can see if you are an ICT trader. You know how OT levels are really helpful in making your buys of the trade, right? So now it has hidden the OT level. It has taken the buy side, right? So now I am waiting for the New York session to open. Now notice this thing that I didn't take a trade when it started going lower, when I was like, oh my God, so now it's liquidating. So now I am right. So that's why I didn't take the trade. I waited for the New York session to open, which is at 9:30. So let me tell you, so let me take you to another step, step number 3, which is entry. All right, how you gonna enter the trade? Now that's the most important part of the trade. If your entry is not good, then of course you can get a loss, and that's gonna be messed up. So right here, now let's say I waited for the New York session, right? So I came over here, I came in front of the charts over here. Now what I analyzed that now we have taken these lows, right? We went up, we have taken these lows. Now the thing is that many people can say, no, it might show some shift in market structure, right? But for me, it was different. Why it isn't gonna go lower after taking this liquidity? Because if you go on a bigger time frames analysis, you can see that from this low to that high at here, we haven't went to the discount level. Market only goes up when there's a discount, when it has been in a discount level, right? So that's why I wanted market to go a bit more lower. Now this fair value gap I used as my target. Why? Because the OTE level from this low to that high is literally inside this fair value gap. And also this fair value gap is in a discount. That's why I used this fair value gap as my target. Now what I cleared, for now I cleared that the shifting market structure of those liquidities isn't gonna work, and I cleared that market wanna go back to the discount level, and I cleared that. I used this fair value gap as my target. So now, after taking these liquidities from here, market went back up. Look, back to the OTE level. This is a weekly gap, actually. You can, let me just show you. This is the weekly gap that I used, okay? So market took the liquidity from there, went back to the consequent encouragement of this weekly gap, right there. And also, it filled this fair value gap, right? It also went back to the premium level from that high to this low. Also the OT level, right? So now it has been increasing my confidence in my bias, right? So now I go to the 1 minute time frame. I actually wanted market to at the start of 9:30. I actually wanted market to take that high and then go back to the OT level from that high to this low again. But as market, you can see as market didn't do it. What exactly market did it after the after 9:30? He took the buy side from these equal highs, right, and then went to the OT level from that high to this low. Now look how it's respecting the OT level. That is perfect, right? Look, Wicks does the damage, bodies shows the narrative. So that's what you're gonna use on this trade. It took the buy side, right, and took this low or this low and making a shifting market structure right here too. Went back to the OT level. No, it's also increasing my confidence. Now right here, what I analyze is that why market went up from this point, why it didn't take that. Why? Because market wanted to go back to that liquidity and take it, go back to the OT level, and it made equal lows there. Why? Because market wanted to go up. So market also wanted to set some stop losses of retail traders over here. So which market can take later on. That's why market take equal lows over here to take them later in the new session right here, right? So as I observed that market took the liquidity from these highs and left that high, which I reacted towards it. I actually wanted market to take that high, but as you can see, it didn't show me that it took that high. So that's why I shifted my, uh, I changed my bias, and then this is the first presented fair value gap. Now look, after taking the buy side, it went down, making this first presented fair value gap an invariant fair value gap a lot of times, and then started going lower. Consolidated over here a bit. Why? Because markets manipulation works at 10 a.m. A New York sections works manipulation works at the 10 a.m., which is right here. And now you can see how after 10 a.m. it started going boom down, right? So that's why I wait for the 10 a.m. to take the trade. I don't really take the trades before it. So let's come to the real entry. Now, as market has been already close to the 10 a.m., that's why when market came back down from here, taking these lows and then went back up to the OT level, or let's just say back to this 5 minute fair value gap, right? So I take the trade right there and I set my stop loss above that high, the New York sessions high, and I set my TP just right there. I set the TP over here because of this fair value gap and also because of these equal lows, right? I didn't really want market to go back to the OT level, so I just set in my TP right there. I had a perfect 1:2 trade, and then now the thing here to understand is that I also told you guys on my live stream that I want market to go above this high when it just made it right, and take the buy side, and then starting going lower, taking these highs later on, taking these lows, sorry, later on, right? So I told you guys that after the 10 a.m., I want market to melting about these lows and this fair value gap. After I just wanted to melt down after I take the entry, for real. And now you can see how market melted so much right here. Boom, and then boom. Now right here, as we have taken a trade, right? So I'm gonna tell you how did I continued continued taking this trade. How did I held this trade, right? That's also an important part. Why? Because holding a trade can be really painful and really bearable. So let me tell you the easy way to hold the trade. Now, right here, when market took a spark, so much down, came so much down, right? It also started going a lot more higher. So at this point, I was having a fear in myself. I was like, oh my God, it's starting to go back now. Why is it going back? Right? Why is it going back? Like, uh, it should come there, right? So I was having a fear that no, I'm gonna get a loss, right? So that was a fear that I'm gonna get a loss. And I had no logic behind it that why would market go up. But instead, I still had logic in myself that market is still one of filled this fair value gap. Why? Because of course market want to go back to the discount area first, and also we had a lot of time in the New York session to finish. That's why I analyzed that. Look, I'm having a fear right now, and what is that fear? That market is gonna go just up now. Why? Because of this big manipulation, this opposite direction, and it's just gonna take me as well, which is I identify as my emotion, my fear, and I look how I block this fear using the logic that I just told you that market should go back to this fair value gap. And also the New York sessions has still time. So that's why I still wanted market to go back down. So that's how I dominated my fear with the logic, right? So that's how trading is 100% logic versus emotions. If you are getting some emotion, you have to analyze that is this emotion I am getting is because of a logic behind it, or is just the reaction towards what the market is showing me, right? So now right here, when market showed me this big manipulation candle backwards, now I got an instant fear that market is gonna go back, right? Which is there's no logic in there. That's just fear. So that's why I used another logic to beat my that fear and to help me to hold this trade, right? So that's the thing that you're gonna keep in your mind, how you're gonna dominate your upcoming fears about how you hold the trade. So that's how this trade went, y'all. And yeah, of course, it's not like 1:10 legendary type of trade, but I call this brilliant trade. Why? Because everything that I just analyzed went perfectly well. And I also told you y'all how it's gonna be so speedy after the 10 a.m. and everything went brilliant. That's why I call this a brilliant trade. Right? So y'all should really check out my stream where I took this trade. I'll leave the link down in the description. Or you're gonna get it right there. The link. Alright, so hopefully y'all loved this video and learned something from it. And make sure to hit the sub button and join my live streams. Hope you learned something even more. And I'll see you guys next time.